Logan. Basically, the Wolverine finale story. It was really good, I think. I'm going to say that it was really good. This movie stars Hugh Jackman, of course, playing Wolverine, possibly for the final time. We'll know for sure, if they pick a new Wolverine or if he just shows up again. Patrick Stewart, who, if I'm not mistaken, recently said this is his last stint as Charles Xavier. Maybe. It seems like everybody is pulling an Affleck and trying to get out of the movie of superheroes. Dafne Keen is in the movie as X-23. She's I don't think I want to give it away, but she's X-23. She's the little girl from the commercials. Boyd Holbrook plays essentially the big bad in this movie. It's not a bad performance by him, actually. He's got the southern redneck, yeehaw sound, but it's mellow. You know what I mean? It's southern, but it's mellow, which made it kind of spooky and kind of intimidating. And I liked it. I enjoyed that. He's playing a character that in the comics is a longtime X-Men / Wolverine villain. And he pulls it off pretty well. He's another incarnation of Donald Pierce. He's a movie version of the comic book guy. But the movie version was pretty good. I actually like the movie version better than I enjoyed the comic book version of the villain. When you see the movie, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I stayed until they started sweeping the floors, and there is no Easter egg, which to me sucked, because I was waiting, man, for the Easter egg, but there was none. But right at the very beginning of the movie, like, there's a trailer that feels like it's woven into the movie. I think you'll dig that. It was close-ish, sort of, kind of, to the original source material, the book. Not 100%, but it didn't walk the same line, but it traveled through the neighborhood, and that was cool. It had a touching storyline. It was, it had a few moments that will make you say, oh man, wow, that sucks, oh, look what they've done, that kind of a thing. So there's that. It was good writing on a comic book movie, which is not always the case, but in this particular case, it's the swan song for Wolverine. So they went ahead and they took time to make it good. They introduced a few new characters in this. Now, of course, this is supposed to be the last movie, but they introduced some new characters that they could probably put in new X-Men movies and such. There's a host of them, actually, which was cool. It's always good to introduce somebody from the books into the story. It's always a cool thing. I'm trying to do this with no spoilers, but I will give up two things. They're kind of big things, but not really. It doesn't give a lot of the story, and there's still a lot of punch with me saying this. If you don't want the spoiler, in about 20 seconds, I'll have stopped talking about it. But I'm going to start right now. The character Richter is in the movie as a youth, and that was kind of cool seeing him. I think I recognized a couple of other ones, but not everybody's name was mentioned. One of the big bads, there are essentially three in the movie. One of them is the Reavers. If you remember them from the comic book, they're a group of cyborgs who are very upset with Mr. Logan for something he's done in the past, but they're in the movie. And that's the end of the spoiler that I'm going to give. Just a little bit, not a big spoiler, not a lot about the story or anything like that. Just, peekaboo, guess who's in it? Stuff like that. This movie is violent. And I mean ultra violent. This is almost a horror movie. It's so violent. Wolverine in the comic books is super violent. He's cutting off arms and legs and hands and stabbing people in the guts and disemboweling people and all kinds of, comic book cool stuff like that. And in the movie, they decided, we've got that R rating, we might as well use it. And he kills a lot of people horribly. One guy sees it coming. You'll see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. One guy sees it coming, he knows, but he's not in a position where he can defend himself or move or do anything. Only thing he can do is, is just watch it coming. And Wolverine does bad things to him. He kills people. There's a lot of blood in this movie, which makes sense for a Wolverine movie. I think a Ghost Rider movie should be scary. I think a Batman movie should have a little bit of terror. He scares the villains. They're all terrified of him. Some heroes are terrified of him. I think an Incredible Hulk movie should be a little scary. He's your modern day Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Frankenstein. He's based off of horror movie monsters. I think a Wolverine movie should be like a slasher flick, because that's what he's doing. That's all he does is he kills people, he guts them, stabs them, so that's the thing. There's heads everywhere. I gotta say that. Essentially what happens is Wolverine, Logan, is introduced in the story to this girl who he has to get from point A to point B. And there's a lot of roadblocks and hurdles placed in his way that they collectively have to get through. Charles Xavier is with them. He's trying to help them on this journey. And there's an additional person that is with them in the beginning when they show them and everything, and that person's trying to help them also. So it's Logan trying to get them from here to there. It's the comic book version of, Vacation, but good. So, yeah. But he's down on his luck. He's having hard times. His powers don't work the way they used to. He's become a limo driver. It seems like most of the mutants on the planet at this point may be possibly in hiding or all dead. That kind of sucks. They hint about what may have happened. You draw your own conclusions. Tell me about it. Tell me what you think. It had a lot of good scene building and a lot of good art, or not art, but writing. It was well put together. It was well thought about, and they put it together well. They put a lot of thought into it. It's a good movie. I give it a thumbs up. I think you should see it. But always, as always, if you dug the video, if you like the content, if you'd like to see more, then go ahead. Right here. Click my face and subscribe. And then like. I forgot. I give this movie a great big 8 bags of popcorn. Now subscribe and like.